Hello, I'm Stephanie Rayleigh, and today we are going to talk about constructivism. Constructivism is defined as the theory based on observation and scientific study of how people learn. Learners are active in the learning process, constructing their own understanding of knowledge of the world rather than acquiring it. Learners become creative makers of meaning and knowledge. John Dewey is an educational reformer and psychologist. He is one of the most influential thinkers in the history of modern education theory. Jean Piaget is a Swedish psychologist known for his work in child development. Leif Vygotsky stated that social interaction plays a fundamental role in the process of cognitive development. Jerome Bruner is an American psychologist and educator who developed theories on perception learning, memory, and other aspects of cognitive learning in children. These four men are the foundation theorists behind constructivism. Let's look at the differences between a traditional classroom and a constructive classroom. The traditional classroom is teacher-centered. The teacher stands in front of the students and directs the students as if a director of the orchestra was directing his musical instruments. In the traditional classroom, the learners are very passive. The class is very boring, and the teachers standing and reading the information for them. In the constructivism classroom, the class is learner-centered. The students are very engaged in the teaching process, using creative learning and asking questions and collaborating with the teacher and with other students. These students are very active learners. In the traditional classroom, the students use a standard text. These are used to teach the learners. The students use memorization and repetitiveness to retain the information long enough to take a test. In the constructivism classroom, the class uses many tools for learning: computers, collaboration between students, collaboration between teachers, the whiteboards, DVDs, games, and other resources. The constructivism classroom is creative and it's an interactive learning environment. Students in the constructive classroom are excited to be in the classroom. They are curious and not afraid to ask questions or exchange ideas. In the constructivism classroom, even the wrong answer to a question is used as a learning tool. And through this concept, students are not afraid to share information. The students are as active in the teaching process as the teachers are. Students use hands-on with critical thinking. The collaborative learning in the classroom brings about a relative context of information that the students can apply to projects and to real-world problems. If the students in the collaborative classroom are teaching themselves, then what's the teacher's role in the classroom? Well, with the students being so actively involved in the learning process, then the teachers are available to walk around and help the other students and give them one-on-one attention. Working in groups with other students, the students tend to solve their own problems. They interact with each other to get the problems corrected, and this allows the teacher to be a guide for the student for one-on-one teaching. The teacher sets up the learning and then allows the students to explore, allowing the teacher to simply direct the exploration. This promotes new patterns of thinking in the student. This allows creative minds of the students to emerge. How does the teacher assess the students' learning in the constructivism classroom? The teacher will have some written test or quiz work. That's inevitable. But the most of the assessment comes from the involvement of the student in the classroom. How the student works on projects in the classroom, how interactive they are with the discussions. Assessments are given on observation, collaboration, and the overall intention of the student in the classroom. Assessments in the constructivism classroom is a daily and ongoing process. Now, I would like to introduce you to the PAR model. This model moves along closely with the constructivism theory. PAR is an acronym for present or presentation, apply or application, and review, test or assess. As you can see in the gear illustration, the presentation part is the largest part of the operation. As with the constructivism theory, this would be the hands-on approach. Most of the learning is done during this phase. The teacher introduces the information, it is applied, or the application process. This reflects only 35% of the learning objective. So what the teacher gives the student is very little of the actual learning process. So when the teacher teaches the class, the teaching part is not as important as the actual application part. And as you can see, the review and the assessment would only be considered 5% of the learning process, which is the smallest part. So, being able to test well doesn't necessarily mean that you've learned all the information. The process of applying the knowledge is where the learning is most effective. Let's keep the gears of learning going and apply what we've learned from the PAR model and the constructivism theory to a simple teaching moment. In the very earliest of education processes, you learned about squares. Can anyone tell me something about a square? Yes, a square is a box. Yes, a square has 4 equal sides. Can you get into small groups and draw me a square? Okay, take just a moment. Okay, very good, very good, very good, very good squares. Does your square look like my square? Very good. So today we are going to take the square that you already know about. It's obvious that everyone can draw a square, and we're going to add a little knowledge to that. Can anyone tell me what a cube is? Yes, it is a box. But you told me a square was a box. Is a square and a cube the same thing? Yes, no. I hear lots of answers. What is the difference in a square and a cube? Can someone tell me? Okay. Can a square stand alone? Can a cube stand alone? Yes. Can anyone in here draw me a cube? Let's all get together and let's think about this and let's see if we can draw us a cube. Okay. Very good. That is a very good cube. You did an excellent job. Can you explain to the other students how you came to draw your cube? Okay, you drew another box, okay, beside the box that you already had, and you simply connected the corners of the squares at the bottom, okay? When you join the lines of the corners, what did this give the square? Can anyone tell me? Okay, it gave it depth or dimension. Yes, that's how come a cube stands up, correct? Okay, so tomorrow in class we will talk about how to measure a cube. For homework tonight, I want everyone to bring a cube to school tomorrow. Can someone give me some examples of what you can bring? A box, yes. A block, that's a good one. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so everyone can bring us a block tomorrow, a cube tomorrow, correct? Very good. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation in our presentation of constructivism. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.